Hi guys, my name's Matt. Welcome to Walk Wild, the adventure travel blog where I talk about everything to do with hiking, outdoor adventures, and around the world travel. Today, I'm going to be giving you my 5 tips for first-time hikers. And just before I get started, as usual, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, please subscribe because it helps support my channel. So my first tip is to know your limits. Now, don't go straight into a hike in a national park you've never been to in the middle of winter, or don't do a multi-day hike when you have no idea how to wild camp or use a camping stove, all that kind of stuff. Take things steady, go gradual. Start with a local area, maybe a nature spot that you've been to before or one that you know of or know something about, and maybe go on a smaller, shorter walk, an hour, 2 hours, something where if anything goes wrong, you know how to get out, you know where help could come from, and you're not going to be completely isolated and stuck. And that's a really good way of building up and gradually, incrementally increasing the difficulty of your hikes. Another good way of getting around this is by hiking with someone else. Walking in pairs can really help build your confidence, and it can help if you're walking with someone who has maybe more experience than you do, and you can learn off them, and then that helps you get more and more comfortable with being outdoors and with hiking, and then increasingly you can go on more and more challenging hikes. So my second point is to know your route. This means that you should do your research before you do any hike. Make sure you've had a look at the trail parks. Maybe do you need to buy any maps? Are you gonna have to do any orienteering? That's quite extreme. I wouldn't say for a first time hiker you should go out orienteering when you don't have any idea. It's probably better for you to stick to a trail. There are loads of trails you can find, and lots of them are signposted. If you've done a bit of research, you may find that there are some ones near to you which are really good. I use the AllTrails app. That's really helpful. So it's just on my phone. I download this app, search for trails in my local area, and then when you get there, it tracks your distance, and if you stray from the trail, it alerts you, that kind of thing. You can follow the trail map and not get lost. And so that's really helpful if you've done your research and you know a bit about the area, if you know the sites you're going to see, if you know if there's a lake or if there are any places to stop for refreshments or toilets, all that kind of thing is going to really help build a picture for when you're out there hiking, to make you feel more comfortable with being in the wilderness and not feel as isolated or alone or worried should anything go wrong, because you've done your research and you know a bit about the area you're visiting. So my third point is to pack light. I can't stress this enough, because when you're at home and you try on your kit, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel so bad, this is all right. But when you get out there and you've hiked a few miles, you'll just feel every gram of that weight on your back. So you need to really make sure you scrutinized your whole kit. Look through every bit that you have with you. Even if you're going on a day hike, this is important. If you're going on an overnight hike, it's absolutely essential. But if you're going on a day hike, you should be thinking, oh, do I need all these extra layers? Is this too bulky? Do I need this much food? Really go through everything and make sure that you're not carrying anything that isn't absolutely necessary. And that's going to help you so much when you're on the trail, because the lighter your bag is, the more you're going to enjoy it. That's probably one of the main tips I want you to take away from this video, is that just pack light, okay? Tip number 4 is to look after your feet. If you look after your feet, they will look after you. It's as simple as that. And if your feet are blistered, if they are swollen, if they're uncomfortable, you're just gonna have a horrible, horrible time. So firstly, that means deciding whether or not you want hiking boots or hiking shoes. That's probably a whole nother discussion, which I can make a video on, but right now I'll say that I prefer hiking shoes, trail running shoes, when I'm walking a hike that's on a trail, because they're so much lighter, they're breathable, and I just don't get any blisters when I wear them. And that's just huge for me. I think hiking boots can be a bit more clunky and you can get blisters from them. If you feel any hot spots developing, or if you've got any grit in your feet, if you've got anything that's uncomfortable while you're walking in your socks, you should just stop, take your shoes off, take your socks off as well, brush your feet down, let your feet aerate, let them dry out, because actually if it gets too moist, that's how blisters start forming. And sometimes I also prop my feet up as well, which helps the blood to flow away from your feet and stops them swelling and feeling so tender. So there's a few tips and tricks that you can do. If you are getting hot spots, also you could put a plaster on it and tape it up before it develops to a full blister, and just stop the rubbing before it gets really bad. And then my tip number 5 is to stretch. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I say this a lot. I say how important it is to stretch, because I spent so many years hiking without actually ever stretching. and that was ridiculous. When I started stretching properly, I realized how much it helped me when I was hiking, just because it made me have less strains and less aches, and it also just made me enjoy it more. I didn't feel as stiff or as painful every day, and I think I started hiking faster and more efficiently, all that kind of thing. So there's so many benefits there. So like a safety point of view, it's a hiking comfort point of view, and yeah, if you just neglect stretching, you're missing out. And I think you should do 5 or 10 minutes of warm up and warm down after each hike. The best way to do it, I like to start at my feet and then work my way up my legs and then my hips, because they get quite stiff if I'm wearing a backpack, and then my shoulders and my neck as well. Stretch wherever I think is feeling tough. As well as stretching, you also want to think about yoga. I found that really helped to build up my strength before I did these hikes. So you just have to type in yoga for hikers or yoga for runners or yoga for walkers into YouTube, and then follow along with that, and that can really help build up strength and agility before you go on these hikes. That's something I found really useful. And so those are my 5 tips, and if you guys have any more questions, just comment below and I'll let you know what I think, and try and do my best to help. And yeah, please like and subscribe. Thanks guys.